My friend, let me ask you a question. Why is that coworker of yours who makes practically the same salary as you going to retire a millionaire while you'll probably depend on Social Security? Why does that person who grew up in the same neighborhood as you, went to the same school, had the same opportunities, now have a seven-figure net worth while you're still living paycheck to paycheck? The answer isn't what you think. It has nothing to do with luck, nothing to do with inheritance, and definitely nothing to do with intelligence. The truth hurts, but it needs to be said. You were taught to work hard, to save, to be responsible. And you do all of that. You wake up early, fulfill your obligations, pay your bills on time. You're doing everything right, or at least that's how it seems. The problem is that nobody ever told you that working hard and saving isn't enough. In fact, if you just keep money in a bank account, you're getting poorer every year because of inflation. Your money is literally losing value while you sleep. Here's what really separates those who build wealth from those who spend their entire lives chasing it. It's not earning more, it's making money work for you. Ordinary people who get rich understand a simple secret. They put small amounts of money to work month after month, year after year, and let time do the magic. Meanwhile, you're waiting for the perfect moment, waiting to earn more, waiting to understand everything perfectly before you start. And while you wait, time, your most valuable asset, is slipping through your fingers. I'm going to show you something that's going to keep you up tonight. If you'd started investing just $250 a month 10 years ago, you'd have over $50,000 today. Sounds like a lot? Wait until you see what happens in 20, 30, 40 years. We're talking about millions, not hundreds of thousands. Millions. With the same amount you probably spend on things you don't even remember at the end of the month. Life isn't fair, my friend. Some are born with every advantage. Others have to fight for every penny. If you lost the birth lottery, if you didn't inherit money, if you didn't have rich parents teaching you about investing from an early age, then you're going to need to work harder. You're going to need to be more disciplined. You're going to need to make decisions that other people aren't willing to make. The good news? You don't need a lot of money to start. You just need to start. Now, in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how ordinary people transform modest salaries into fortunes. I'm going to reveal the strategy one used to survive every market crash and still accumulate millions. And I'm going to prove to you, with real numbers, why every month you delay literally costs tens of thousands of dollars from your future. Stay with me until the end because what you're going to learn here can completely change the trajectory of your financial life. Have you ever stopped to think about what really separates those who build fortunes from those who just dream about them? The answer might surprise you, my friend. It's not about finding the perfect stock or having some kind of crystal ball that predicts the market's future. The truth is much simpler and, at the same time, much more challenging. We're talking about the ability to stay calm when everyone around you is panicking. Think about that friend who sells everything when the news gets bad, or that relative who swears this time is different, that the market will never recover. The reality of the financial market is that it doesn't move in a straight line. It goes up, goes down, crashes, recovers, and repeats this cycle indefinitely. Imagine you started investing in the 80s, a time when technology was completely different and access to information was limited. You saw your money grow consistently until suddenly, Black Monday 1987 happens. The market crashed in a way no one had seen before. Your friends, your family, everyone telling you to pull your money out before you lose everything. The fear was palpable, real, suffocating. The temptation to hit the sell button is almost irresistible in these moments. After all, watching your wealth melt before your eyes isn't easy for anyone. Those who sell in these panic moments end up turning temporary losses into permanent losses. It's like selling your house for half the price just because the real estate market is down. You crystallize the loss. On the other hand, those who manage to take a deep breath and stick to the strategy discover something fascinating. The market has always recovered, always found a way back. Let's move forward a bit in time. You survived the 87 crash and your portfolio started growing again. Then the year 2000 arrives and the internet bubble bursts. Tech companies worth billions turn to dust overnight. Again, panic. Again, your friends begging you to sell everything. You hold firm once more. Then comes 2008, the global financial crisis, giant banks collapsing, the world seeming like it was going to end. And you You keep investing month after month, buying stocks when they're on sale. Here's the secret that few understand. Each of these crises was an opportunity disguised as a tragedy. When you keep investing during the drops, you're buying more shares for the same money. It's like buying more products when they're on discount at the supermarket. The difference is that with stocks, when the price goes back up, and it always has, you have many more units than you would if you only invested during the highs. That's the true power of long-term investing. And then, when you least expect it, 2020 arrives. A global pandemic, something no one alive had experienced before. The market plunges again. You already know the script at this point. The panic, the apocalyptic news, everyone running to sell. You've seen this movie before. And just like the other times, the market recovers, this time even faster than many expected. If you'd invested just $250 a month since 1985, going through all these crises, you know how much you'd have today? More than $1.8 million. That represents a return of over 6,000% on the money you put in. Now imagine if you'd invested a little more each month. Now that you understand the power that investing has when applied over time, it's time to get your hands dirty. A lot of people get stuck right at this stage because it seems too complicated. There are so many platforms, so many types of accounts, so many technical terms that seem designed to confuse. The truth is that starting to invest today is infinitely simpler than it was a few decades ago. In the past, you had to call a broker, wait on the line, explain what you wanted to buy, and hope he'd execute your order correctly. Today, you do all of this from your couch in a matter of minutes, straight from your phone. The first step is choosing an investment platform. There are several options on the market, each with its advantages. What's important here isn't getting paralyzed trying to find the perfect platform. The perfect platform is the one you'll actually use. Look for one that's regulated, has a good reputation, and offers the types of investments you want to make. Many of these platforms nowadays are free or charge very low fees. Compare that to the past when you paid high commissions every time you bought or sold something. After choosing the platform, you need to open your account. This process usually involves providing some personal information, sending identification documents, and answering some questions about your investment experience. Don't be scared by these questions. They exist because platforms are required by law to understand their clients' profiles. Be honest in your answers. If you're a beginner, say you're a beginner. There's no shame in that. Every successful investor you admire today was also a beginner once. One extremely important thing before you start investing a single penny is having an emergency fund. This means having saved between 3 to 5 months of your expenses somewhere easily accessible, like a savings account or some immediately liquid investment. Why is this so important? Because investments in the stock market fluctuate, they go up and down. If you need the money precisely at a moment when the market is down, you'll be forced to sell at a loss. The emergency fund gives you the freedom to let your investments grow without having to touch them because of an unexpected event. Now comes the good part: depositing money into your investment account. Most modern platforms have made this ridiculously easy. You can make bank transfers, use a debit card, or even instant payment systems. Start with the amount that makes sense for you. There's no magic minimum amount. Some people start with $50, others with $500, others with more. What's important is to start. Remember that story about the best time to plant a tree? It was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. The same goes for investments. Here's a detail that many people don't know and that can make a huge difference in your pocket. There are types of accounts that offer tax advantages. In the United States, you have options like the Roth IRA, where you can invest up to $6,500 a year and don't pay tax on the gains when you withdraw the money in the future, as long as you follow the rules. In the United Kingdom, there's something even better called an ISA, where you can invest up to £20,000 a year without paying capital gains tax, and you can withdraw whenever you want. Find out what options exist in your country. These tax advantages can represent tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars over decades. It's money that stays in your pocket instead of going to the government. Now comes the question everyone asks when they start investing. Which stock should I buy? What's going to be the next Amazon? Which company is going to make me rich? The truth is that's the wrong question. Trying to pick individual stocks that will outperform the market is extremely difficult, even for professionals who dedicate their entire lives to it. Studies show that the vast majority of professional fund managers can't beat market performance in the long term. If they, with all the time, resources, and access to privileged information, can't do it, what makes you think you'll be able to do it in your spare time? There's a much smarter strategy that requires much less effort. Instead of trying to pick the winners, you simply invest in all of them. Sounds crazy? Let me explain with an analogy that'll make everything make sense. Think about music charts, those lists of the most played songs. Songs go up and down on that list based on their popularity. If a song drops too much, it leaves the list and is replaced by another. Now imagine you could invest in the entire chart, not in individual songs. You'd always have the most popular songs in your portfolio, automatically. That's exactly how index funds work. Take the S&P 500, for example. This is an index that tracks the 500 largest companies in the United States. In it, you'll find giants like Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Tesla. When you buy an S&P 500 index fund, you're buying a little piece of all these 500 companies at once. If a company starts having problems and drops in value, it eventually leaves the index and is replaced by another company that's growing. You don't have to do anything. The replacement happens automatically. The beauty of this strategy is in diversification. If you'd put all your money in Blockbuster in the 90s, thinking movie rentals were the future, you'd have lost everything when Netflix came along. If you'd bet everything on Kodak, thinking photography was eternal, same thing. Individual companies can fail, can be overtaken by competitors, can make terrible decisions. The market as a whole, however, tends to grow over time because it represents the entire economy. Bad companies leave, good companies enter. You always stay with the best ones without having to guess which they are. Now comes the part that separates those who really accumulate wealth from those who just keep trying. Automation. Set up your account to invest a fixed amount every month, automatically. It could be $100, it could be $500, it could be whatever you can manage. The secret is in consistency, not in the amount. Think of it as the price of a coffee every day. If you spent $5 a day on coffee, that would be $150 a month. Now imagine taking that money and automatically investing it in the S&P 500. In 30 years, based on historical returns, you'd have over $1 million. Automation removes the hardest part of investing, which is discipline. When the investment happens automatically, you don't have to make the decision every month. You don't get tempted to spend that money on something else. You don't stop investing just because the market is falling or because you're scared. The money leaves your account and goes straight to the investment month after month, year after year. Is it boring? Yes. Is it simple? Absolutely. Does it work? The numbers don't lie. People who do this for decades end up with seven-figure portfolios, even starting with modest amounts. The magic happens when you combine time, consistency, and compound interest working in your favor. There's a force in the investment universe that's so powerful that Albert Einstein supposedly called it the eighth wonder of the world. We're talking about compound interest. Most people hear this term and their eyes glaze over. It sounds like mathematician stuff. Let me simplify it in a way that'll completely change how you see money. Compound interest means you earn returns not only on the money you invested, but also on previous gains. It's money generating more money, which generates even more money. Sounds like magic, but it's just math being your best friend. Now comes the part that many people don't realize until it's too late. Time is the most important ingredient in this recipe, much more important than the amount of money you invest. I'll give you an example that'll make this crystal clear. Imagine two people. The first starts investing $250 a month at age 25 and does this for 40 years until 65. The second person waits until 35 to start, but invests the same amount, $250 a month, for 30 years. Same monthly amount, difference of only 10 years at the start. The person who started at 25 will end up with approximately $3.5 million. The one who started at 35 will have about $1.1 million. Wait a minute, you're probably thinking, shouldn't the difference just be 10 years of investment? Not when compound interest comes into play. Those first 10 years have more time to grow, to multiply, to generate returns on returns. The difference between these two people is more than $2 million, just because one started 10 years earlier. Let that sink in for a moment. 10 years. That's the difference between comfortable retirement and millionaire retirement. The biggest mistake young people make is thinking they have plenty of time. They see someone at 25 and think, I'm still young, I'll start investing when I'm earning more, when I have more stability, when life is more organized. Then they reach 35, 40, and realize they lost the most valuable decade they had. Those early years, when you're probably earning less, are paradoxically the most valuable. Every dollar you invest at 25 has 40 years to grow. Every dollar you invest at 45 has only 20 years. Here's something that might seem unfair, but it's the raw reality of the financial system. The earlier you start, the less you need to invest to get to the same place. Someone who starts at 25 investing $200 a month can end up with more money than someone who starts at 40 investing $500 a month. Time compensates for the difference in quantity. That's why you see people who never earned stratospheric salaries retiring as millionaires, while others who earned fortunes during their lives end up with nothing. The difference is in when they started and whether they were consistent. There's another giant advantage to starting early that nobody talks about. You have more time to make mistakes and learn. If you start investing at 25 and make some mistakes, you have 40 years to recover and improve. If you start at 50 and make the same mistakes, you're in trouble. Starting early gives you room to experiment, to understand how the market works, to develop the stomach to see your portfolio fall and not panic. These are lessons you don't learn in books, only with real experience. So if you're reading this and you're in your 20s, understand the gift you have in your hands. Time. If you're in your 30s, there's still time to make a huge difference. If you're in your 40s or 50s, don't use that as an excuse not to start. The second best time is now. Every month you delay is one less month your investments have to grow. The future person you'll become in 20 or 30 years will thank or curse the decisions you're making today. The choice is yours, but the clock is ticking for everyone. So, my friend, now you know. You know exactly why ordinary people get rich while others fall behind. You understood the power of time, the force of compound interest, and the simplicity of a strategy that works. The question now is no longer whether you know how to do it. The question is whether you'll actually do it. Think with me for a second. 20 years from now, you're going to look back and be in one of two situations. Either you're going to thank the version of you that's watching this video now for having made the decision to start, or you're going to bitterly regret having let another day pass without taking action. Which of these two people do you want to be? The one who had the courage to take the first step, or the one who just kept planning, just waiting for the perfect moment that never comes? Here's the challenge I want to leave you with. In the next 7 days, I want you to open an investment account. You don't need to put in a lot of money. It can be $50, it can be $100, it can be whatever you can manage without compromising your essential bills. Set up a monthly automatic investment in an index fund. Done. You just took the most important step of your financial life. Now answer me something. How much do you really want to change your life? How much are you willing to sacrifice today to have freedom tomorrow? Let me ask you some questions I want you to honestly reflect on. If you keep doing exactly what you're doing today, where will you be financially in 10 years? In 20? In 30? Will you be able to retire with dignity, or will you depend on other people? Will you have the freedom to make the choices you want, or will you be trapped by circumstances? These questions are uncomfortable, I know. They should be, because discomfort is what leads to action. If this video made sense to you, if you felt that tightness in your chest realizing how much time you've already lost, then I need you to do one thing for me. Subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. Why? Because this is just the beginning. There's a lot more knowledge you need to absorb about how to build wealth, how to protect your money, how to accelerate your financial growth. Every week I bring content that will expand your capacity for reflection on investments, wealth, and financial freedom. And it doesn't stop here. Take a look at the other videos on the channel. There's content on how to protect your investments in times of crisis, how to choose the best stocks, how to increase your income, how to develop the mindset of someone who builds wealth. Each video is a piece of the puzzle. The more you learn, the faster you get there. Knowledge about money is a necessity. It's the difference between controlling your life and being controlled by circumstances. Now tell me in the comments, what part of this video impacted you the most? Was it discovering how much money you can accumulate with small monthly amounts? Was it realizing how much time you've already lost? Was it understanding that the strategy is simpler than you imagined? I want to know your story, your challenges, and your fears. Let's build a community of people who are truly committed to changing their lives. And who knows, maybe your story inspires someone else watching to take the first step too. My friend, before you go, I need to tell you something. I believe in you. I truly do. I know the journey isn't easy. I know each of us carries battles that nobody sees. Some start with enormous advantages, others need to fight 3 times harder to get to the same place. Life doesn't deal the cards fairly. You might have been born without money, without connections, without the privileges others had handed to them. And it's okay to acknowledge that. What's not okay is using that as an excuse not to try. Because here's the truth that nobody can take from you. You have skills. You have potential. You have the capacity to do much more than you're doing now. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm saying it's going to be worth it. Every small action you take today toward a better financial life is a victory. Every dollar you invest instead of spending is you telling the universe you deserve more. And you know what's most beautiful about all this? When you improve your own life, when you achieve your financial freedom, you don't just change your destiny. You change the destiny of the people around you. Your family, your children, the people you love will benefit from the choices you're making now. You become a living example that it's possible, that you can leave where you are and get to where you want to be. And that's too powerful. The financial education you're seeking now, this knowledge you're absorbing, nobody can take from you. Crises come and go, markets go up and down, jobs appear and disappear. Knowledge stays. The more you study, the more you learn, the more prepared you are to seize opportunities when they appear. So keep studying, keep learning, and keep growing.